Did you know that if you own a 6-liter Ford Powerstroke truck between 2003 and I guess 2007, you can have high idle basically for free? Let me show you how. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Project Time Garage. Just gonna have a little quick thing for you here today. This is a 2005 Ford F350 King Ranch dually, otherwise known as Big Booty Judy. This belongs to my buddy Dustin. And we were talking the other day just about the whole, high idle deal and the fact that the 6.0s are really easy to do a high idle mod on. So I told him I would take care of high idle on this truck, and I thought, well, I've not done a video on accessing that built-in high idle circuit on these trucks before, so I thought I'd go ahead and do it. Don't know how many other videos are out there, but here's my entry. Anyway, let me show you how you do it. It really is, it's faster than it has any right to be. Easy. It's easier than it has any right to be, put it to you that way. Show you what we got going on here. Now, I kind of got already in process on this a little bit, so I've decided to stop and film this. But what you're going to want to do, there are some factory switches or some factory wires that are right back here in this cavity, right up above the parking brake on this truck. And the idea is we need to get to those. There are various things back there, but what we're looking for is there's one wire that's capped off that runs over to the ECU that is for high idle for a PTO. You see that a lot in wrecker applications or trucks that have wet lines or hydraulics on them. So when you turn the PTO on, it idles the truck up to about, I think it's 1200, just to speed up the fluids. So that's what we're going to be using here today. It's very simple. You find the wire, you give it 12 volts, truck idles up. That's it. Now, in order to do this, it's best to get this box out of your way, this fuse box, because like I said, the wires are right up here and they're just kind of taped to a bundle usually. You'll have 4 bolts that hold this fuse block in here. I'll go ahead and pull the cover off of it here. And we see in this case the owner has a few things that have been added and tapped into the box here. So this one right here is one that we're gonna have to pay attention to. So this is going under a 5-amp fuse. So we'll pop that loose. And I'm just gonna get him kind of back out of the way. And I'll go ahead and finish pulling this screw out. And at this point we should be able to just go ahead and lift this out of here. Now it's gonna be up under this lip just a little bit, so just kind of have to work with it. Pop it out. All right, there we go. And we'll just kind of peel it back a little bit here, get to what we need. Now, keep in mind, this right here is 12 volts. It's got a cap over it, but it's the 12 volt. I believe it's the feed for this whole thing, so just be careful that you don't inadvertently get it against power or against the ground. All right, so as far as the wires, you'll see right here there's a bunch of wires that are cut right here, and like the yellow one there has some tape over it. That's all factory cut wires right there. That's your upfitter switch package. In fact, you can see the green wire there that's going off to the left. It just has it looks like shrink wrap over the top of it. Anyway, you'll see this orange wire right here that already has the end stripped. I've already stripped that. That is our high idle or PTO wire. Now keep in mind here that when you're looking at that wire bundle, there's several wires there, and I think there are at least 3 of them that are orange, and all of them have different color stripes on them, and some of those stripes are kind of hard to see, so pay attention. Make sure that you're looking for the wire that is orange with no stripes, no tracers. It's just orange. And in my case, it was one that didn't have, it wasn't capped off from the factory. It was just cut, blunt end cut. So anyway, be sure of that. Don't want you to end up putting power to the wrong thing and frying your computer. Anyway, that orange wire, you give it 12 volts, truck will idle up. Let me just do a quick and dirty, show you how it works, okay? Now, just to show you how this works before we actually get it all hooked up, if you'll notice, I have a blue alligator clip to that orange wire. I've just stripped it back and clipped it for a second, just for demonstration. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the other end of this blue and I'm just gonna put it right to this power for a second. In fact, let me get this cover off before we do that. All right, so there we go. Let's start the truck up. Okay, so the way we'll do this, we'll take this, which is hooked to the orange wire, and we'll just basically put it against 12 volts. There we go. And you hear the truck idling up. It's up about, I don't know, 1200 or so. And when we pull this wire away, and that's all there is to it. So pretty much you put 12 volts to that orange lead, truck will idle up. Pretty straightforward. Now, in our case, we have the upfitter switch pack here. So we're going to use this number 4 aux right here, and that's where we're going to put our high idle. So I think the first 2 of these are used. One's like a fuel transfer pump, and maybe one is an air compressor. And we'll take number 4 and we'll use it as the high idle. Also, I believe, I'm sure somebody's going to correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe these 2 right here are attached to lower amperage. So I think they are maybe 10 amp, and maybe these 2 are 30 amp. I believe that's right. Again, I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong on that. These upfitter switches, apparently these already have wiring ran all the way over to the fuse box. And if you look right here on the back of the fuse box, there's this big bundle right here coming out, and you've got a huge solid orange, a huge orange with green. I'm not sure if you can see that one or not. And then you got 2 small ones. You got a orange with yellow and an orange with blue. These go to the corresponding switches over there. So evidently the 2 big ones, that would be the first 2 switches, don't know which is which. But as far as the little ones go, the small wires, the yellow with orange is switch number 3, and the yellow with, or the orange with blue is switch number 4. So in this case, all we've got to do is take the wire that we just found and attach it to here, and that is the connection made and done. So let me get about doing that real quick. There's the connection that I've made. I use the solder shrink sticks to do this. That's kind of what I recommend. I don't really like to use these butt connectors because over time they will start to get kind of funky and fade out on you. These are the things that I'm using. Basically, they have some low melt solder here in the middle of them, and then on each side they have like a waterproof glue sticky shrink wrap junk. So when you hit it with flame, it will actually shrink down and then melt and then seal, and then after that it's a watertight, waterproof, good seal. Amazon link down below in the video description where you can buy these. They're cheap and worth it. So that is pretty much what is needed in order to set high idle up on one of these 6.0s. So a quick word about the high idle. If you have the high idle engaged and you step on the brake, it'll disengage the high idle, and the only way to get it back on is to turn it, off and back on again. Now, in this particular instance, we did utilize the upfitter switches that were in the truck in order to do this. But if you don't have the upfitter switches, it doesn't matter. Literally, all you have to do is be able to tie that wire to, to 12 volts, and it'll high idle. So in the case of my 2003 that doesn't have the upfitter switches, I just found the orange wire and pulled 12 volts through a push button switch mounted to the lower dash panel. So I push the button, I get high idle. Just all you gotta do is get 12 volts to it. So not a tough thing to do. Anyway, quick video. I hope this helps somebody out that's looking to do this same thing. If it did help you, I'd appreciate it if you would, you know, give me a like and share it with your friends. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.